field, blast off, watch a mom fall. This is AFC North Talk. Got me hype, it's about to be a touchdown. Got the Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, and the Browns. Are you listening? It's time to get it hype. Tune in when the season poppin'. Yeah, we going live. Hey, knock 'em out. Ay, first down, going hard. Yes, indeed. AFC North Talk. Let's go. Hey, AFC North Talk.
Welcome to another edition of AFC North Talk. Here we are. We're gonna do a recap. I know the schedule's coming this week. Then after that, we're gonna have the thing that people love the most and the people hate the most, which is the rankings. Because there's always hate for the rankings. There's always love for the rankings. Those are fun shows. Those are coming up. But let's talk over what's happening in the AFC. Now, by the way, Ace, I did forget to mention something. That is the type of basketball I was missing. This NBA playoffs, they've been good. Other than blowout games, but when there's like those physical, tough,
I told you, bro, the NBA is back. This is the NFL show. NBA is back. Jordan's coming back to the NBA NBC as a special commentator. Yeah, that's going to be very interesting, especially if he's commenting on a LeBron game or something like that.
Yes, sir.
I can't wait for Jordan to get like a little bit too honest. And they're like, "Oh, Mike, what did you think of that?" They're like, "That guy's a bitch." I'm like, "All right, let's catch a commercial."
You know what? I'm gonna go against the grain here. I think it's very overrated when we have these like great players get on commentary. It's like not very much has it ever really led to anything above what your average viewing experience is. Like what? Did you learn anything from watching Tom Brady say the same basic shit that Tony Romo gets in trouble for saying on Fox? Like it's the same stuff, right? Like I don't think you should put players on TV for broadcast just because they were big names when they played, because I don't think it makes the broadcast any better. I think there are plenty of tandems to do a better job covering the actual game itself. And I think it's part of the NBA's problem, right? Is that they just always gravitate to these big names that shit on the product 24/7. And then they wonder why so many people think the product's ass, because every time you turn on TNT, Shaq and Chuck are like, yeah, it's not physical anymore. It's not good. It's trash.
It's a pretty decent Shaq.
Back in our day, Kenny, like, and it's just like, it's overrated. Like it was better when it was just people who appreciated the spot they were in, appreciating the game that they're playing. Like what? Who has the best pregame, postgame show in the NFL right now?
Fox, I guess.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think they're all pretty good.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't matter, right? Like it's not really about the big names being there. So like Jordan being there, it's just gonna be another one of those like, okay, people are gonna overvalue what Jordan's saying. Jordan's gonna have some old head takes, and like we've seen Michael Jordan run a basketball team. Like, how much are we trying to actually hear him talk about, like, oh, what this team needs? Like, he don't fucking know. He drafted Kwame Brown.
I was gonna say,
number one overall. Like, look what he did to the Wizards. Okay.
I think it is good though. I haven't been like a huge basketball guy for a while, but I think having Tarico as the main play-by-play guy is gonna make it. The presentation of it is gonna be so
Tarico's
good.
a good guy.
Tarico's, I think, the best overall play-by-play guy in sports.
Controversial opinion to hear. I hate Shaq as a commentator. I thought that show was way better without Shaq. I did not.
Yeah, then we could get 20 years of fucking Draymond on these halftime shows. Like,
oh my god,
I don't need
at it, man. I don't care if they're celebrities or not. Like, I think that's why college football clears some of the play-by-play stuff on their big games that you see in fucking NFL. Because like, it's not about Joe Klatt. He wasn't fucking famous. He's just good at what he does, right? Like. And we're just leaning way too hard into let's get a celebrity here, and it's like just get people who are fucking good.
I just like it because we don't hear from Michael Jordan. Like you might hear one thing from Michael Jordan like once in 5 years. You don't even know.
I feel like that might be a good thing.
So just wants to smoke cigars and play golf and sit in the one chair he has in his mansion.
But to be fair to Ace, if Michael criticized LeBron, that's everybody's gonna run with that.
But he's not gonna go at LeBron. I think everybody's jumping to LeBron, but it's like he's gonna probably just like pick on fucking like some mid-level player, right? Like that he knows that he can exert his will over.
He's gonna pick on like the 7th guy on the Spurs bench.
Mike, he's notoriously been a fucking bully, like throughout his whole career. Like this is what he does. He's gonna pick on like the Tyrese Halliburtons of the world, or like the Donovan Mitchells, and like that's really what he's gonna have to smoke for. He's not gonna say shit to LeBron. They got to see each other at Nike functions, right? He's not gonna have any smoke. He's never had smoke for LeBron. He's gonna have smoke for like the players who are struggling, and he's gonna add on. This is not gonna be that entertaining. Like,
do you think? I don't think that the players are gonna like how they get pissed off with Charles Barkley and don't respect him and talk about the rings. That's gonna be the interesting dynamic to me, because I don't think that they're gonna publicly go against him like they do Charles and like be like, oh, well, you didn't get a ring or anything like that.
What you mean? It don't fucking matter. You're gonna get like they're gonna say fuck you, Mike. Like they don't care. These little dudes don't care about no Michael Jordan. This shit happened on VHS. Ace. They not caring about what happened.
Not even DVD. Not even DVD.
Born in 2007.
That's quite unfortunate.
It's not Michael Jordan about to say something like what Mike know. All I know about Mike is he's a terrible GM. He don't know talent when he see it. And you got a point.
Like he was a horrible GM. Yes, I agree. Everything. Owner, GM. Anyway, okay. So let's skip the basketball. Let's talk about our teams here. Let's start since Super Chat is about the Bengals. Ace has to hate the Jamar Stewart pick even more now since he didn't want to sign the contract. Now, my understanding wasn't the contract. He didn't want to practice because he didn't sign the contract. Correct?
Is this Paul Brown's daughter like fuckery going on right here, or like is this Jamar Stewart just like?
So there's always going to be the Katie Blackburn thing to this, right? Like them doing weird things with contracts, guarantees, and all of that. I was under the pretense that everybody had the same rookie contract. I didn't know that you could have a different language in each rookie contract.
It's different language for like the guarantees. Yeah, I know that, but and usually if you're a first round pick, you get it.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's usually how it goes down.
Yeah. Apparently this is over some kind of injury protection, but supposedly, like everything's supposed to be covered anyway, which is why you see guys like Walter Nolan playing.
Yeah.
Jamar Stewart, I get it. I don't get him and Demetrius Knight both sitting out, because I'm like, at the end of the day, bro, Walter Nolan is not under any contract whatsoever, so he hasn't signed anything. He is out there.
Not either.
Yes, and he is out there. They are out there playing. Jamar Stewart. This is the only thing that I will say. Don't know if you check social media or not. Don't know if you're watching this or not. Don't know if your family members are watching this or not. Pretty hard not to tell that Bengals fans were not super excited when we picked you. So you already had that kind of going against you. Now you have this thing where one of the questions about you was production. You didn't produce from a sack standpoint where people thought that a person of your caliber should be drafted at 17. You didn't live up to that. Now you're not taking reps at a rookie minicamp. Like we're not, like this isn't some high intensity kind of workouts or stuff like that. And at first I'm like, okay, Bengals, you gotta be right. But like, Doc, you guys are hitting sleds. Like, let's just keep it a buck right now. And for me, like, I didn't know this, but apparently everybody started doing the research and digging up that one of the reasons that people didn't like Jamar Stewart was because his agent through the process. This guy wasn't going on private workouts. He was turning down private workouts. I had no idea any of this stuff was happening. So I'm like, for you to have the questions that you have about yourself, to do certain things like not go to private workouts, to do certain things like hold out of rookie minicamp where this is not high intensity stuff. This is not stuff where you're going to really get hurt, where there is a guy literally drafted in front of you that everybody in the Bengals fan base wanted that is out there. And you can't even use the organization as an excuse because the Arizona Cardinals are not a good organization. Historically, people have said similar things about them than they have to the Bengals, and he's still out there. To me, and then the Demetrius Knight thing, Like, this guy is supposed to actually have a chance of being a starter. You're a second-round pick. I just don't understand not participating. I'm not saying that you have to sign the contract now. If you have gripes about the contract and all of that, that's perfectly fine. If you want more stuff guaranteed, that's perfectly fine. But, dog, it's rookie minicamp in a situation where you are a guy that was picked with all of these question marks. If I'm a person with a bunch of question marks and stuff like that, I'm getting my ass in minicamp. I'm sorry. I'm shutting people up. And he said on record he wants to shut people up by trying to be in this defensive rookie of the year race. And you're not even in rookie minicamp. Like, that to me, I just don't understand it from that perspective. And it's hard for me to side with the player because there are current players, like Sonny just said, like people are reporting, that have not signed their contract at all.
Only, by the way, Ace, just to add, only 11 first-rounders have signed their contract.
Only 11 out of 32. So, and that's not even to talk about the second-round pick. So, when I see that, I'm just completely against the player. Now, I'm not here to say that Katie Blackburn, you guys know I'm not glazing for the front office. I'm never going to make excuses for them. But when I see somebody in another situation doing the exact thing that you're not, that is why people talk about NIL culture. That is why people talked about we shouldn't start paying players, because now there's kind of this entitlement to, I don't have to participate in this and X, Y, and Z because I'm going to hold out, or I can get a better NIL deal somewhere else. And that's how a kid got kicked off of a team. This is a dangerous precedent.
NIL though, because he's already drafted.
I think it has to do with NIL because
was he a big NIL guy? Like, so not everybody who gets drafted in the first round is getting big NIL dollars. Like, I don't know.
I'm not sure if he is. I'm just speaking to the overall aspect.
It feels like this is just his agent's advice for him. Like, I think this is more about that than, because you're saying there's another player not showing up to camp, right? Are those players represented by the same guy?
I'm not sure if they're represented by the same guy. But everybody else in our draft class is signed. Everybody from the 3rd to the 7th round.
And you mentioned that they didn't like how his agent was handling the individual workouts. I'm just saying, before we point the finger at it's because they're getting paid in college. I do think there's a chance, even if he wasn't getting paid in college, this just seems like, hey, your agent wants you to do this, so you guarantee that you get this because maybe they feel like the Bengals are hard negotiators, so you got to show that you're willing to not show up. It feels more like an agent.
And the reason I say that is an individual, because you just had the NIL situation with the kid that wouldn't show up to practice because he didn't have his NIL deal.
You talking about Nico?
Yeah, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a lot different than this, though.
I mean, clearly, it's NIL, but it's still entitlement. It's a theme of entitlement. I'm withholding my services until something is given
one
to
player decided to strong arm Tennessee. Is the whole player base is doing that? That's kind of a wild leap.
There's a lot of people comparing it to NIL situations, so this isn't the first.
I know people are making the leap, but just because the leap is popular doesn't mean we can't examine whether that leap is just a stretch or not. Though.
I think it is. I don't think it's
Nico strong arm Tennessee. It's not widespread.
He's trying to strong on the Bengals. He's not playing.
Strong on the Bengals. He's trying to get an injury guarantee.
It's literally a viral story now. It's literally a viral story now because
the Bengals, you have to be real about this. The Bengals are known for fucking around with contracts.
And so are the Arizona Cardinals. And Walter Nolan is playing with
that y'all are. It's not the same.
Walter Nolan is a way more.
You are the most notorious franchise in
So who is the better player? Walter Nolan or Shamar Stewart? Who is the more notable player?
They're
in
both
that equation?
really notable.
They were drafted right next to each other. The other guy is playing, and the other guy is like, "No, I'm not." For a guy that people thought was a reach.
Maybe Arizona is not messing up. I think there are more explanations.
Arizona is a bad organization. They are notoriously cheap as well. They do not have.
But that doesn't mean that they're handling this situation in the same way that y'all are, because there's not just him.
But he hasn't signed a contract. There's not a parallel because he never signed a contract.
Not showing up to camp right now. So that indicates to me that there is more than just this one player said fuck it. There are two that aren't showing up. your first 2 picks, right?
Yes.
That to me is like, okay, there's
Look,
something
we're
going
talking
on.
about rookie minicamp.
I
What are they doing
understand.
where they're gonna
But you
where
have
they're
to
gonna
ask,
get
why
hurt?
can't the Bengals get their 2 rookies, their 2 top drafted rookies in camp? Like that's
But this
also
isn't
on
just
the
a Bengals thing. This isn't a
If
Bengals
the
thing.
Cardinals
There's
can
been
get
plenty of
Walter
other.
Nolan in, you got to be able to
He's
get.
not in. He's not in. They haven't come to an agreement on his contract.
Okay, but he's at rookie camp. That was your whole point, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he's participating
Why-
without a
I
contract.
understand why the contract is not signed. I'm saying, why is it that for this situation, the Bengals' 2 top picks don't even feel comfortable coming into practice, while everybody else is like, no, we'll play until we get a deal done. That's like the big, because like it's not a coincidence. It's your 2 top picks. This was like 1 pick in the 30s and then another pick in like 166. But your 2 top picks not wanting to show up for rookie camp might indicate that there's something.
No, they have shown
unusual.
up. They're refusing to participate.
Hmm?
They're there. They're just
Yeah,
refusing to
why
participate.
are they refusing to participate? Like, is it a coincidence that these 2 aren't? That's the question I'm asking. Is we're pointing the finger at like, oh, they're not participating, but I'm like, hey, it's kind of weird that 2 top picks both made the same decision.
So if a guy that has not signed a contract and Walter Nolan,
Quinshon Judkins, and Mason Graham both decide to not show up the rookie camp and they sign a contract, I would be wondering what the fuck is Andrew Berry doing?
but
But
they're
he
there,
was
and there's people that are playing without a contract. That means that they could go out and get
Well,
hit by a car tomorrow, and they have not signed their contract.
I don't think
Like Walter Nolan is literally playing without any kind of protection.
I get you. A lot of these rookies are. That's not the point I'm debating here. What I'm saying is, what is going on between the conversations between the players' agents and the team that the agents are like, no, we don't want you to go to practice. Like, it's standard practice to practice without a deal at this point. What is going on to where they're like, no, don't show up? Because you don't.
They are there. They're not showing up. They're not participating.
Yeah, they're showing up.
They are not going. They're
Okay, what
basically
is
holding
going
in.
on to where they're saying don't participate? It's too much of a risk. What is going on there for 2 top picks to do that? That's not usual. Like that's specifically unusual, and it's specific to the Bengals and their 2 top picks. That's the only point I'm making.
But
Like,
that's happening with a whole bunch of other people. There are plenty of 2nd round picks and 1st round picks that have not signed yet.
Yeah.
okay, not talking
Like
about
that-
signing. We're talking about
that's the only
participating.
thing, like,
How many are not
but
participating?
they're the only 2 doing that in the NFL.
This is why I'm saying it's only happening to y'all. Like, it's not an NIL or like a culture problem. It seems like it's specifically the Bengals that are having this issue.
But there
with
are,
participation.
before he was a Bengal, there are reports that NFL teams had an issue with his agent. It is not
Okay,
just
what
the
about the
Bengals
second
saying
round pick?
something.
Was that the case?
I'm not sure. I don't know who the 2nd round pick's agent is.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So, like, unless they're represented by the same guy, why is the 2nd round pick not participating? Like, it's not just one player not participating, right? Am I correct on that?
No, it's 2.
It's 2.
It's 2.
So, like, that second player is what I'm saying, where I'm like, okay, I get it. People aren't, the vibes aren't great with Shamar right now, but there are 2 players not participating here doing the same exact thing. And that should be more concerning. Like, I'm not saying it's going to make a big difference on these guys' rookie years or not, but that to me is like, I think this points towards the Bengals more than it points towards these players, because every other rookie in the league right now is okay playing without a contract, practicing without a contract, understanding that that deal is going to get done. The Bengals have the only 2 that don't want to participate in rookie minicamp right now.
My
thing is this. I'm not taking the onus off of the Bengals. If you don't like the contract, sign it. But somebody else not signing the contract is in the same boat. Like, if Walter Nolan goes out and gets hit by a car tomorrow, he doesn't have any guarantees. So I get what you're saying. Like, I'm not telling them strong arm them and sign the contract and participate in rookie minicamp. Get whatever guarantees that you need that you feel like you need to do. My issue is there are active people out here that have not put pen to paper at all that are participating.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying sign the contract that the Bengals are giving.
I'm not saying sign the contract either. I'm saying that exact point though. Everybody else is okay with it. What is the reason why, like for the Bengals specifically, that can't be done?
So I will say this based on I'm just researching here real quick on the fly, but looks like there was some language in the contract that Shamar did not like. It says, this is a quote for him. I just decided not to sign those papers. I hate being on the sideline, looking at everybody else do work. Now, to Ace's point, rookies have like an injury waiver during this rookie minicamp. Now, if they haven't signed by training camp, their waiver's not there. But for the minicamp itself, there's a waiver, meaning that if you get injured, that doesn't affect. And that's why most rookies play. Apparently, there's something in the look. My green or
something in the waiver.
I'm sorry.
Because the waiver's got to be standard by the NFL.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. The waiver, no, he doesn't like something about his contract, and because of that,
which is totally fine. I don't have a problem with that at all.
Yeah,
it looks like because of that, he decided not to practice. Now, I haven't checked the second round pick. I'm only talking about Shamar. I haven't checked all night. But my point is, for me, it was a surprise because in the case of the Ravens, Starks hasn't signed or Green. Neither. Everybody else signed, but those two hasn't. And they practice, right? And I had never heard a rookie holding out of camp, right? Out of mini camp. Never. This is the first.
But what I'll say to that as well is Marius Mims signed in like July, so it's not foreign to me. I'm not saying sign your thing and take whatever it is. Like if you got to hold out to get your guaranteed contract, that's fine. Just know that there are other people out there that have not signed anything that have that waiver claim in place, and they're participating and you're not.
It doesn't look good for the kid. I got it. And Q, by the way, it's not that I don't disagree with you. Because it's kind of weird that the only two are also coming in the Bengals side, right? Like that is also weird. Mm-hmm. Like and both things can be true. It's not a good look for the kid. Why are you holding out? Especially the fan base is not open arms on you, right? But at the same time, I also look at the Bengals like, man, it is weird that the only two holding out that I know of are in the Bengals. Like that is kind of weird.
Holding out from participating, right? Like you can't. Like there's something about the physical aspect of it that they don't have confidence in for whatever reason. Like you're not gonna do much as at least a defensive tackle in camp.
Yeah,
maybe they got the same agent and their agent's just deciding to do this, and that just might be why it's just happening to the Bengals, even though that agent likely represents players on other teams. I just think like the fact, like unless I'm wrong here and there are more players deciding not to participate in rookie minicamp, I do think it is interesting that despite the fact that it is standard to sign the injury waiver, not sign your rookie deal yet, because usually that gets signed in July for most guys, right? I think only 11 first-round picks have signed their contract. It is usual to still participate in rookie minicamp. And the fact that there's two players not participating that are healthy, and those two players are Cincinnati Bengals, I don't think it's a part of the story that can be ignored, and that's my whole point is like, why is it that there's two Bengals, they're two top picks, they can't get these guys to even participate when every other team without an agreement on the contract can get these guys to participate?
Yeah. Now let's add to the Bengals front office. Today broke that Henderson said, yeah, the Bengals have not talked to me since the draft. I think he said more than that, but that's the gist, right? I don't want to misquote. And the gist was after the draft, these guys basically haven't talked to me. And he also said the last year, they essentially had an agreement, wink, wink. If I can replicate another good year, you will extend me. You're going to give me my deal. So basically, looks like that's what I was reading for what the whole thing was. The Hendrickson thought, yes, this year we're not going to give you the big deal because you just had the one great year. You have been good, but this is a great year. Do it again. And he came back 17 sacks again. And he thought, okay, well, you guys told me they were good if I replicate this again. And then it happened. So Henderson looks to be pissed and whatever. So, I don't know What's your whole thing over there? What have you heard?
I mean, this is classic Bengals negotiation tactics. They do this with everybody in terms of, and I think that it's a shame. I don't subscribe to it because the Bengals kind of have done this with certain players, DJ Reader. Anytime they get into these situations, they kind of try to use it as leverage on, all right, we're going to throw this offer at you. We're going to wait and see if you actually take it. If not, we're going to wait until the 11th hour and then try to get something done from that aspect. Similar things that they've done with Jesse Bates where it ends badly. They did it with T. Higgins, I think, the year prior to that. They're doing it now with Trey Hendrickson. To me, I personally think, this is just my theory, it's not sources or anything. I think it's a Katie Blackburn thing because Katie Blackburn is notorious for doing these kind of things, kind of standing on and being stubborn for certain things. I know I've been told by some people that they literally had to go in and tell her, like, don't lowball me or you're going to piss me off, and that's just going to mess up the negotiation. And literally, that's her default mode is we're going to lowball you. We're going to try to make every kind of assumption to squeeze every kind of penny that we can out of the situation. And we're going to try to assert the notion of it's a privilege to play in the NFL. We have you under contract. This is what we're going to do. That's not going to work in this case. And it's backfired, I think, on them twice. It backfired on them in the Jamar Chase situation where they didn't want to meet his number. He went out and had the year that he did with the Triple Crown. They ended up having to pay more. It worked out for them they were right in a sense in the Jesse Bates situation. Jesse Bates, that season that they gambled on him, he didn't have the best season. He didn't have the season that he had prior. So for them, they felt like they came out on top, which I don't think that they did because Jesse Bates is an all-pro level safety. In this situation, I think they are overplaying their hand in the Trey situation. I think they're wrong. I think if you lose Trey Hendrickson, especially with this Shamar Stewart situation, how it is right now, it's a bad look. I think it's bad that they have Trey Hendrickson in the media because Trey Hendrickson isn't a media person. He doesn't really give interviews. You don't really hear much from him. He doesn't post on social media like that. And the fact that he has had to be on shows and everything like that, it's just a bad look. I get the negotiation tactic, but there's a people element that I think that the Bengals always seem to kind of miss out on. And it's that these people have feelings, they can become angered. And so what he might have been willing to take from you, let's say it was 32 million or something like that before, after being disrespected, it's like, oh no, the number's 35, the number's 40 now because you pissed me off and you wasted my time.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that this was Trey kind of resetting the narrative because about a week or two ago, there was a Diana Rossini report that came out that was like, oh, everything's going good with the Bengals and Trey. This is going to get done, this and that. And now Trey is kind of correcting the narrative like, no, I have not heard anything from the Bengals. They have not reached out to me in the form of contracts. Now, the weird thing was Rappaport kind of said that they've talked, but not necessarily about contract stuff. So he was like, he is right, in fact, in terms of there not being any kind of talks about a contract or anything, but apparently there was some contact between the two. I personally think that they're bingling the situation as it stands right now, and they're pissing off people from the way that they negotiate. And that's always been the thing that they've always done. And I think now they're just doing it with Trey Hendrickson. And I think what they feel like is they feel like they have leverage because the draft is over. Nobody's offering them the first round pick that his agent said that he could get for him. Now they're in a situation where Trey has to take whatever it is that the Bengals get or threaten to not show up. Me personally, I think the other issue here at hand is the Bengals don't like to guarantee much to people over 30. They normally don't like extending people over 30 regardless. So I think if Trey really wants 2 or 3 years and he wants 2 of those 3 years guaranteed, the Bengals are probably only wanting to guarantee like 1 year. So I think that this is going to be an ugly situation that's not going to really have a resolution until the two sides come together and decide what they're going to do.
Jared, I haven't heard from you in the whole Bengal situation. So what is your thoughts between everything?
Yeah, I'm just chilling, bro. With Trey, when it comes to that entire thing, we've talked about it all offseason where the Bengals just seem to shoot themselves in the foot with this entire situation. Trey has continuously proved himself.
Mm-hmm.
And like if you're like, if I'm Al Golden right now, I'm kind of pissed because like you bring me in and I already don't have much to work with. And now Trey Hendrickson might not even be here. Like you're not exactly setting me up to succeed in that case. So, you look at their defense right now, there's not a lot of pieces that excite you to begin with. And I think that deliberately, to an extent, like pissing off your star edge rusher in a league where that is becoming arguably like the second most important position in the game is like a guy that can consistently get to the quarterback. Like if you're the Bengals, man, like you got to have as many hands on deck as possible, especially after last year, what the defense looked like. So you paid Jamar, you paid T, you got to be able to find a way to be able to give Trey Hendrickson what he's earned. I don't even say deserve, like he's earned the money that he's going after. And by waiting, they kind of, screwed themselves a little bit too, because we've seen Max Crosby get more money, Myles Garrett get more money, TJ Watt's going to get more money here soon. So like by waiting, that only makes it worse for Cincinnati. And if I'm Trey and I see another guy get another deal, I'm, going to the negotiating table and saying, all right, that number's going up again. So they haven't done themselves any favors. And I don't blame Trey, one bit. And I know a lot of Bengals fans are probably frustrated by it, but I would also guess that many of them are pro player when it comes to this, saying, like, yeah, he's certainly earned this. I'm almost always pro player when it comes to this stuff because, owners, GMs, whatever, can just decide to cut a guy at, a moment's notice. So if it's a business for them, it's a business for the players too. And they got to be able to get as much money as they possibly can. So Trey's earned it. They need to give it to him. There's ways that they can do it. I mean, Joe Burrow has spent like the last year and a half laying out ways, which are like, yeah, if we do this, and this, we can do it. The Philadelphia Eagles have shown that you can pay just about everybody through different ways, through, prorated bonuses and things of that nature. So there's things that you can do to kind of cheat the system and make sure everybody gets paid and gets what they want.
Yeah, they got to make a decision whether they're willing to spend the cash or not. Yeah. Like, are you willing to spend the cash and you're going to extend your championship window into a place where you can extend guys on your roster and be able to compete and do what Philly does, right? That's what Philly does. They spend a lot of cash. They push money down the line. Is that what you want to do? Do you want to extend your window? Do you want to go all in on winning right now? Or do you want to rebuild and try to just get to another window of rookie deals where you hit on enough draft picks over a couple of years to where you can have a Super Bowl window for a couple of years doing that? Because if that's the case, you probably should trade Trey Hendrickson and try to get assets for him. If you're trying to win now, then you got to spend the money, structure it so that both sides are happy, and just spend the cash. And if you can't spend the cash, then you know what you got to do, right? Like, well, ain't no point in stringing this out, right? If you can't spend the cash, you're going to have to trade them eventually. So that's really the decision the Bengals have to make. How aggressive towards winning are they going to be right now versus their strategy being, hey, we're going to draft well, we're going to get some good rookies under contract, and then we're going to have 2-3 years of a window while these guys are still on their rookie deals, and we have a select few guys that we keep, like Joe, obviously, T, Jamar, right? Like, if that's the game plan, that can work. But you got to commit to it. If the game plan is we want to keep dudes like Trey Hendrickson around, I agree. That's a good game plan. Spend the money and keep Trey Hendrickson around and make sure that he's productive for you. But, trying to stretch this whole thing out so you can fuck him over and put the tag on him eventually, right? And then, say that you got out for that. That's just not going to bring you good vibes and bringing veterans onto this team. It's not going to make people who aren't Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins feel good about their chances to make money with the Cincinnati Bengals. And in the NFL, you want your best players to feel like, okay, if I play well, I'm going to get rewarded. Not, hey, if I play well, maybe I hit free agency and get rewarded by somebody else. Maybe I get traded and get the contract that I deserve anybody else. I can't imagine that leads to a great culture or a place where people care about the program in the way that you need to win a championship. And that's really the decision that the Bengals have to make here, right? Like, how much do you truly want to maximize Joe Burrow's window. If you don't think it's there for you, if you think the Chiefs are too strong, if you think, the Eagles are too strong and maybe this isn't your window to attack, okay. Like, the Bengal fans ain't going to love that, but okay, I can understand it. But if you feel like this is a window where, maybe you don't think the Kansas City's that tough. They didn't look that tough in the Super Bowl, right? Maybe you don't think the team coming out the NFC is that tough. Why not be aggressive and go after it when you've already spent so much cash keeping your wide receivers and your quarterback, right? Like, yes. Why not keep an edge rusher if you've been willing to spend the cash, which the Bengals have been willing to spend the cash, right? So they're in this in-between place. I don't think you keep T. Higgins if you're trying to win later, right? Like, you don't pay T. Higgins. You don't go through everything you did. Or maybe they think because they were able to keep T. Higgins, this Trey Hendrickson thing can go out similarly. But I don't think Trey's looking for that. And we'll see what Trey's response is, because he really doesn't have a ton here he can do other than threaten to not play or retire. Right? Like, I don't think he has any levers he can pull in his contract right now. So Trey doesn't have a ton of moves here. He should get paid. He deserves the money. He's earned the money to get paid. And he should get $25-30 million to play football. The question is, like, eventually, where's that going to be? Is that going to continue to be in Cincinnati, or is it going to be somewhere like Tampa Bay, or who would be a team? Jacksonville feels like a team that's crazy enough to do some shit like this.
Maybe Green Bay, if they would be able to pull off a trade. I mean, they can put somebody opposite of Edge Cooper.
Yeah, so that's the thing with the Bengals and their front office is they got to really figure out what they're doing. And the fact that they're having issues with their edge rusher right now, getting him under a deal, they're already beefing with the dude that they drafted to replace him. Like, it's minor stuff here. Like, they could keep Trey and Shamar could show up, be a dog, and things would be fine. But for May, it's not a great look for that organization. We'll see where they are come September, because ultimately they have Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, so they're going to be pretty good at football.
That's true. Okay, so now we can talk about the Ravens. The Ravens cut Tucker. That's essentially all happened. Once they signed the rookie kicker, I knew that was coming. Wasn't I surprised that they did it right away? I thought they were going to let them compete. Versus now, what they've been doing is signing any kicker that is available, any rookie undrafted. Basically, what Q likes, right? Q says you should not draft a kicker, just go with the undrafted. Well, they signed
Hunger Games.
Yeah.
First one to miss, they're out.
That's exactly what they've been doing. Anyway, I don't know if you have any you guys have any comments on that. On the Tucker thing,
I thought the press release was interesting that they dropped out there, that they kind of went out their way to make sure that this was.
I thought that was complete bullshit. I think that, and look, it might have just been for like legal reasons, because technically he hasn't been like charged with anything, and they can't be like, oh well, all these things that happened. So, but even so, like,
there was a way to do it without being like, and just to be clear, like, that doesn't feel like legalese to me, right?
Yeah, I agree.
That feels like they didn't want the optics that they got bullied into releasing Justin Tucker.
Like, you didn't need to do like a whole long ass thing. You could have just said, we released Justin Tucker. That's it.
Let me add something real context-wise. The reason why I read they have to do it this way is because a team and the NFL cannot penalize a player because of the same thing. So if the Ravens would have said we cut him because of the legal reasons, right? Because you can cut him, then the NFL cannot come back and say, oh, we're going to suspend you for any, because then
they don't have to say, we cut Justin Tucker because of these allegations. They can just say, hey, we've released Justin Tucker.
Yep. They didn't need to go in like a whole thing and been like, man, it was a football decision, a tough decision. Like, fuck no, it wasn't a tough decision, Eric DeCosta. You know why you did it.
It is a tough. Well, I think what makes this a little bit more complicated is that Justin Tucker is not just like dude on the roster.
Sure.
Right? Like, he is somebody who has a significant name, especially in Baltimore, and has built up a significant reputation in more ways than one in the city of Baltimore. And I guess it's a delicate balance, but I don't think anybody would have been like, damn, y'all did Justin Tucker dirty if you would have just released him. I think everybody would have understand why you wiped your hands of it and didn't say anything of it, because it didn't really have to be said why you drafted a kicker and why you decided to move on. Because now you're just like trying to piss in my face and like tell me you're not pissing my face, because you're like, oh, we drafted a kicker and he was so good. We didn't even have to see this fucking kid kick in rookie camp. And we're like, let's go. Justin Tucker's gone. Like, do you think I'm stupid? Like,
I got you. I mean, that's fair.
Like you
that's
could be fined for thinking people are that stupid, instead of just doing what 99% of teams would have done, which is release them. And look, I understand. The Browns are going to embarrass me in like a year or two when they come up with all these reasons that aren't the obvious for why they released Deshaun Watson. So, you know,
I mean, I'll even give Jimmy Haslam a little bit of credit there too, because even he a few weeks ago was like, "Yeah, that was a swing and a miss." We're like, all right, at least he finally admitted it.
Like, it was only because the football was bad. All this shit. I'm like, you don't have to say that. We know that's the decision you made. But yeah, so they'll embarrass me soon enough on a similar front here, no doubt about it. But yeah, the Ravens is, why not just release him and then just move on to the next thing? Because I get Sonny's point. You can't just be like, oh yeah, man, we released him because we think he's guilty. That's not allowed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you can't do that. But if you release them and you're trying to make it performant, like, what are they worried that Justin Tucker's going to sue them for wrongful termination or something like that? Is that what they're worried about? Like, does he have a good case? Or is this something where Justin Tucker has some shit on them and they're like, hey, let's try to make this as nice as possible so we don't get into like something's funky about that release.
If there's any organization that might have some dirty shit, it would be Baltimore, considering that they have no issue bringing in just the qualms of the NFL, just the real buttoned up guys of the NFL. The Baltimore Ravens love.
I will say this: what I read was
no team in this division has a sparkly reputation.
That's fair. Sorry, Sonny. Go ahead.
What I was gonna say is what I read was that the league wanted to make sure if Baltimore was gonna cut Justin to ensure that the reasoning was football related, because they did not want, if the investigation comes back and they need to suspend him, right? They do not want the PA to say, well, he already got punished for that, right? So I think it's a mix between that and the fact that the Costa and Tucker and Harbaugh,
maybe they're boys.
They're boys. Yes, that's what I was gonna say. They're boys. I think they go to church together, or they've been in the same church site.
They get massages together.
Yeah, them and Harrison
I
Becker.
don't know. I don't know about that. Anyway, any thoughts on the whole Tucker thing?
They had to do it from a PR perspective. You can't take Mike Green and have Justin Tucker on the same team. I do think Justin Tucker not being Justin Tucker anymore definitely had to do with it. I think that you put up with it, possibly the backlash of Justin Tucker was still a top kicker, but the fact that he's not allows them to kind of get away from that.
Okay. Next, we can talk about George Pickens. George Pickens got traded.
Can we talk about every Dallas fan ignoring like the history of trading for these dudes Mike Tomlin gives up on? And
I was going to cue it. Give me some flowers before
concerns. I'm like, hey man, so did Mike Mayock, right? Mike Mayock was like, oh, we just got Antonio Brown, and then 3 weeks later, what did he get called?
Reliving all the Antonio Brown stuff has been actually very fun over the last month. Just like remembering, oh yeah, he frostbit his own feet. I forgot about that. That is kind of funny.
Let me see.
He was on Hard Knocks, just showing it.
I heard Colin Cowherd said, "Oh, if Mike Tomlin gets up on a receiver,
that dude's truly done."
And but I was like, this is what Q said like a month ago. Q said, if Mike Tomlin trades a receiver, you don't want to touch him.
Okay, I hear that. But at the same time, the flip side of that coin is maybe the Steelers deserve a little bit of blame for constantly taking chances on these head cases and then getting like surprised when they turn out to be head cases. Like, no shit. That's why he slid in the draft in the first place. And you're surprised that he's a jackass? Like, what are we doing here? Like,
here's the one thing though that they do get credit for, because they do take these savory characters, and they do. And the thing is, one, when they're on the Steelers, they're productive.
They're productive. Yes.
And two, they end up getting more than face value over like the long term of this, right? Like they definitely got more than face value for Deontay Johnson, who's been on like 4 teams since they've traded him, right? We'll see what George Pickens ends up, but the fact that he went for a third and he's George Pickens tells me, good God, it might not work out for the Dallas Cowboys. A second for Chase Claypool, right? I don't know what y'all get for free.
That's another thing too, by the way. A bunch of Steelers fans are like bitching and moaning. You only got a third for George Pickens because they're stuck on the fact that Ryan Poles was dumb enough to give up a 2 for Chase Claypool. Like you're not getting much more for Pickens considering all the baggage that comes with them. They gave up a 2 for DK Metcalf. The consensus is that DK is better than George Pickens, so like you weren't gonna get more than a third for him.
And even when people compare it to like the Amari Cooper trade, we're like, oh, the Browns got a third for Amari Cooper. The thing is, the Browns paid about $20 million, like in order to make that easier on Buffalo to trade Amari. So the Browns really traded Amari Cooper in $20 million for a 3rd round pick. Yeah. Instead of just straight up like trading Amari Cooper. So, I mean, it's fine value, but it's the kind of price that indicates that Pittsburgh was not going to have this dude on the roster.
And look, man, like I've said it on this show. I've said it on my channel since the day they traded for DK Metcalf. I've said they are going to trade George Pickens. And so many people just want to be like that. Why would they trade George Pickens? They now have 2 good receivers. And I said, A, they're redundant of one another. They do the exact same thing. And B, the reason, I mean, obviously DK is incredibly talented, but one of the big reasons why they wanted to get him is because they were tired of Pickens. He constantly showed up late, was reportedly late for the Christmas Day game, wasn't great with the media, like constantly having to answer for it as well. Look, they were just pissed and fed up with it. So like, I don't blame them for trading him. I think it makes sense to trade him. But at the same time, man, like when are we going to start being critical of the Steelers for constantly taking these dudes who are known to be a little bit of head cases and then be shocked and like praise Mike Tomlin for being like, oh man, what a great job by Mike Tomlin. Bro, he drafted him. You knew that he was a pain in the ass. What are we doing?
I don't think it's praise as much as like, it's just like, that guy deals with head cases, and when he's willing to give you one, it's probably because that head case is wild.
Then stop bringing in head cases.
It's
pretty easy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the dude who likes messy, and he's willing to trade you the mess. That to me is an indicator that that's a mess you ain't trying to clean up. Like, especially you first-year head coach Brian Schottenheimer, you stand no shot.
I agree.
I'll say this, man. They are going to be. I would love to see Dallas on Hard Knocks. Oh. I know that Cleveland is kind of the one that everybody's circling right now. I would take Dallas on Hard Knocks. I think that would be incredibly interesting watching Brian Schottenheimer trying to deal with George Pickens.
And people are like, Dak Prescott's going to get him in line. Okay, yeah, we'll see how long that goes. We'll see how long. You think George Pickens is like, oh my God, boys, Dak Prescott, y'all.
George is gonna like. There's going to be a game this year where like Dallas is down by like 15 in the 4th quarter, and George is gonna say, "Let this motherfucker say, here we go, one more fucking time," and I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna drop kick him
in the middle of the play. Like there is less things he has to respect in Dallas than he had to, and because at least in Pittsburgh, you're like, oh, okay, well, there's Mike Tomlin, and you don't want to be on it because the media really loves Mike Tomlin, so you get on the wrong side of him. You know, you're gonna get shat on. Nah, man, you might get the benefit of the doubt with the fucking Cowboys. Like, it's a different game, man. And I'm just like, I don't ever feel good about trading for one of these dudes because it's never been like you traded for one of these wide receivers in Pittsburgh and you figured it out, right? Like, George Pickens would be the first guy you figure out. And it's Dallas?
Like, yeah, and you know, I do think that, like, not to say that Mike doesn't deserve credit for getting, you know, stuff out of these guys. Obviously he does. And it's I think Emmanuel Sanders is the only guy who's like left in recent memory and had like more success after the fact.
Free agency though?
Yeah, he wasn't traded. He left in free agency. He signed with Denver. So, but yeah, I mean, guys like, Obviously, AB didn't work out.
A decent run in Baltimore, right?
Yeah, he had so originally he signed with Miami. He didn't really do all that much, but after he went to Minnesota after that, and then Baltimore, and then he had like that really nice resurgent year. So like there are cases of guys playing well. It is, albeit rare, but we'll see. I think for the Steelers now, it's going to come down to if they want to go get another receiver to be the number 2, there's teams that they can reach out to. Houston's one of them. They just drafted 2 receivers. They can try to maybe see if John Mechie's available. If you want to go to Green Bay, they just drafted Matthew Golden and Savion Williams. You can see if you can get Romeo Doubs. So like there's guys that you can go get, or you can sign Amari Cooper or Keenan Allen to be your stopgap number 2. That's fine. But all in all, it was a good move. They weren't going to extend him anyway. You may as well get something for him. And now they have 3 third-round picks next year that they can use to trade up and get a quarterback. So,
do you think the market for him was like a 4th-round pick during the draft? Because
that's what the reports are saying.
Draft,
yeah, I mean,
right?
A lot of reports are saying like teams would laugh at the idea of bringing in Pickens, and they weren't going to get good value for him. Another, reports also said that they weren't going to trade him for less than a third. So they got a third as well as a 2027 day 3 pick swap. So I think it's a good trade. And now you can, focus on this year and an Arthur Smith offense too, by the way, historically you need 1 good receiver, a solid tight end, and a good run game. You don't need a game breaking number 2. It would be nice to have, but the offense doesn't really require it. So I don't think they're truly worried about it. I think they're fine just rolling with Robert Woods and Calvin Austin and Scotty Miller, Ben Skoranek, all the dudes that they currently have if need be. And just worrying about, okay, we'll try to, win games this year and maybe win a playoff game. And then once the season's over, focus on moving up in the draft to get our next quarterback.
And George, dog, they fucking hated you because they were willing to advance the clock at wide receiver, go from 23 to 27, 28 years old on a team that's not really close to winning the championship. And then they traded a second, gave that guy $30 million just so they could trade you for a fucking third. They hate you. This is gonna be a disaster. I market it right now.
I don't think it for Pittsburgh or Dallas.
Not for Dallas.
Dallas.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be a waste of a 3rd-round pick,
and that's fine. Their loss could hopefully be the Steelers' gain, where they use that 3rd-round pick to move up in next year's draft and get the quarterback that they like. Hopefully, it's a certain quarterback from Penn State. That'll make me very happy.
I see you weekly putting.
I'm manifesting it.
Yes, I see it.
Are they gonna trade a 3rd-round pick for Trace?
Trace McSorley was a Steeler for a minute. He was.
Ray, so we have a couple super chats. Let's go through it. Ray Rat here says,
"Thanks for the big donation, Ray Rags."
One thing I think college football does way worse than the NFL. Fox big noon kickoff. There's no reason a network should face games to be a certain time, especially in college when the atmosphere is.
My unpopular opinion is that primetime games suck and big noon is the best.
I don't disagree. I like early.
Hey, so you a primetime or noon game guy? College football.
I do not watch college football.
Oh, I'll even say this about the NFL too. If the Steelers could play 17 1:00 games, that would be great. Yeah. I would love that.
College football, noon is the second best spot. The best spot is 3:30 CBS.
3:30 is good too.
When they had the SEC, with the Big Ten.
I'm also tired of the boner for the SEC too. By the way,
well, no, it was just specifically how the CBS in that era covered the.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm talking about Nick Saban era, right? That was. You need to be around your fucking TV. Gary Daniel, LSU, fucking Alabama. It's going to be the greatest game you ever seen in your life. Right. It's going to go from day to night. It's going to be awesome. That is college football. I think night games, you don't get the same energy because everybody's already wasted at that point.
I was gonna say they're kind of tired.
Yeah, you want the kids to be getting to their buzz, and you get to your buzz about 2-3 o'clock, right? That's when you get the craziest shirt off, all the kind of stuff, right? They call it white boy wasted. It's usually 2-3 o'clock on a Saturday. 8 o'clock, you got to recover if you're gonna do anything at 10. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be that lit,
Yeah, I'm much more of a noon guy and 3:30. I'm not crazy about
fucking crack their first beer open at 6. That's what's required for a night game. It sucks. This game's on the whole time. You're gonna be asleep by then.
I disagree. Okay, so Ray Rag also says, I know it's non-AFC North related, but congratulations to the Saints fans. You starting QB is now Tyler Shaw. Have a fun with random reading 2.0.
Yeah, that entire operation over there, man. That is going to be.
Bro, they make the Browns look good.
I was going to say that they were a team that was already like had zero excitement going into the draft. They came away somehow with less excitement.
Now,
That is a boring team.
I had a take on Twitter, and some people did not like it, but I want to hear from you because this affects you, Jared.
All right.
I said, if you're Aaron Rodgers, do you want to go to the AFC North and face these teams, or will you go to the Saints where you're playing a dome?
Good God.
No.
But you got to play for the Saints.
I know, but look at your opposition. Look at the rest of that division.
But look at your own roster. The Saints roster is bad. Like, at least the Steelers roster, for all the things that I say about them and not being close to a Super Bowl, they're a hell of a lot better roster-wise than the Saints are right now.
Yeah,
And
okay.
Kamara,
Who's closer to
Olave.
the playoffs? If Aaron Rodgers is in both teams. I will
You
argue
can go 8-8 to Sonny's point, though, and make the playoffs in that division.
Exactly, that's my point.
Well,
You can be
8-9.
honest about it. Yeah, you can go 8-8. That was my point. And that was my point. If you're Aaron
And you
Rodgers,
don't have to play Myles Garrett twice a year. You don't have to play Trey Hendrickson twice a year.
Baltimore was second in sacks, even though they don't have a premier pass
Yeah,
rusher. My
they'll
point is
find
that-
some random guy to get in there.
My point is that if you're Aaron, so anyway, that was a wrinkle I threw because I was like, you know, if you're Aaron Rodgers, you don't have to deal with cold weather, right? Because it's domes and good weather in the south.
He played in Green Bay for 20 fucking years. He doesn't care.
Yeah, he's like 40 or 50 now. It's not the same. I don't know. All I'm saying is, it's a wrinkle.
We are underrating. This is a guy who likes voodoo
Oh, Christ.
in New Orleans. They got voodoo. They got tarot. They got palm. They got all that kind of shit that he loves.
If Aaron wants to go play for Kellen Moore and a bum ass roster, say la vie, Bob. Good luck.
I'm just saying, there was a wrinkle I threw. Some people,
His boy Derek Carr, he's got to hold it down.
Goodness. Yeah. No.
Oh man. Okay.
I know which one I would choose, and it's certainly not New Orleans.
By the way, is Derek Carr like the best starting quarterback to retire and nobody give a fuck?
I saw somebody said like he's either the best worst quarterback ever or the worst good quarterback ever, and I thought that was really good.
He retired and nobody cared. There wasn't anybody like, damn, it's gonna be sad we don't get the. They were like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like, it was almost like if you watch Saints fans, that was the favorite thing of the fucking offseason is that he retired.
They seem to be very tired of Derek Carr.
All right, trade for Deshaun, Saints. Come on, do it.
They won.
Some schedule leak news, by the way, since we started. It will be the Chiefs and Broncos on Christmas night. So.
Good. Now Mark said that he doesn't want to play Christmas no more. He was tired. The league always gives it to the Ravens.
Because he be eating the.
We win big in Christmas. My point is, he said like I would like to spend one Christmas with my family and not on the road. Anyway, We Diggy says that's what's Kevin Colbert drafting head case. Omar Khan seems to be in a different.
And look, I understand that there's different guys holding the position of general manager, but there isn't a single person on the roster that Mike Tomlin doesn't say, yeah, we'll take him. Like Mike Tomlin is the one who is he'll say things he wants and Omar Khan will make it happen. Mike Tomlin's the decision maker.
Omar Khan was a fucking intern when Mike Tomlin got the head coach. Like the idea that he's like, oh man, I can't do nothing. Omar said I got to take him.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly. You think he's been there 20 years. You think Mike Tomlin doesn't have any say here?
Football ops in Pittsburgh. Like it all goes through Mike. That's why you can't fire him. Like
I didn't know Rich Einstein was returning to ESPN anyway.
Yeah, it came out today, apparently.
Was what?
Rich Einstein?
Yeah, Rich Eisen going back to ESPN.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I like that fit, but that's fine.
My guess is that, like, McAfee's tweeted something yesterday. My guess is that Eisen's going to take the McAfee slot and McAfee's going to go somewhere else.
Oh, is McAfee leaving ESPN?
He hinted at it.
Oh, wow.
Thank God.
Interesting.
So we'll see.
Okay, Ray Rack also here says the Steelers do the same thing with head cases wide receivers that the Ravens do with old defensive players. They find a way to squeeze out the talent they have. One does it when they are younger. One does it when their players are older.
I mean, at least with
true.
the Ravens, as much as I crap on the Ravens for the people that they bring in, like Kyle Van Noy having like career years at however old he is.
There is a distinction, right? The
Yeah.
Ravens do not do this often with wide receivers. They've done it 2 times,
Yeah.
right? Like Anquan Bowden and Steve Smith.
Steve
Yeah.
Smith with us, obviously.
I think
Almost
they were
young.
like the greatest receiving games in like the AFC North team's history. And it's like the Bengals have like 5 guys who've gotten 300 yards.
Mhm.
Steelers have like 3 guys who've gotten like 200. And then you look at the Ravens, it's like one guy got 200 yards, the next guy 150.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, dog, have they ever had a great receiver? No.
Not for a long time. Anyway,
Maybe
Hey,
you
right,
for George Pickens.
no. Tomlin loves the players. The players are weird or hard to deal with. Literally look at some of the best players they had on both sides of the ball from 2010 on.
I mean,
James Harrison wasn't hard to deal with.
No, James Harrison just made some bad hits that got him fined a lot, and like some of their
showed up to practice.
Yeah, I would disagree with that notion. I think that I would agree that Tomlin seems to love the head cases. That seems to be right, but I mean, most players from the 2010s, no, I don't think any of them. Like most of them were head cases or anything like that.
I don't know if it's here's the distinction I'll make. I don't think it's that they love head cases and they go, oh, George Pickens is an asshole, let's fucking draft him. I think it's they don't care what they hear off the field about some of these players, or they're overconfident in their ability to fix that, right? Like I think Mike Tomlin has not adjusted to in the 2010s, the early 2010s, you had the leadership in that locker room that maybe you did bring in a troubled case and then they could figure it the fuck out because you had enough vets in there, and that's what NFL locker room culture was at that time. But I mean, since we got into the late Ben era, right, we're talking triple Bs, shit ain't been going like that, right? It was Ryan Clark ain't there no more. Like, dude, you ain't got none of these dudes who held down Steelers culture. Like, so it's just Cam Hayward in there, right? It's not the same thing. And I think he's like, oh no, we got the guys in the building to be able to get this guy in check. And it's like, nah, man, even the peak of that Steelers culture couldn't do shit about Antonio Brown, right? Like I think it's like overconfidence in what they have culture wise that leads them to make these kind of moves. It is shocking that it only happens at wide receiver though.
I'm sure that Ryan Clark will see this and say that Mike Tomlin deserves a lifetime contract, even if he goes 0-17 over the next 9 years or whatever.
Look, Ryan Clark goes hard for the Hall of Fame coaches he's had.
he's a Hall of Fame Mike Tomlin grifter. That is his job title now.
Do you ever hear him talk about Nick Saban, like cussing him out? He's like, and I needed that.
Ryan Clark tries too hard to be thoughtful, and it comes off as incredibly cringy.
I agree. Ray right here says also Carr might be the worst legit MVP candidate QB we had since
he was.
When was Derek Carr an MVP candidate?
In election year, was it 2016?
Maybe the year where they went to where they ended the playoff drought. Because he had a nice year that year, but then he got hurt.
Was it the year y'all beat him in the playoffs, Ace?
That was his last playoff.
That was what 21? That was the year that they went to the Super Bowl.
The 2021 season, right?
Derek Carr? Yeah. He threw
like 29 touchdowns. 29 touchdowns, 14 picks that year, I think, for Derek Carr.
There's no fucking way that was the year that Ryan Tannehill was legitimately in the MVP conversation. Like they just had nobody to give the award to. I remember that. He had to be like ninth in voting though. Who won it that year? Was it Lamar? Or Pat?
Probably Mahomes.
No, 2019 was Lamar.
Yeah.
With 2020, the pandemic. 2020
was pandemic. Rodgers won it. I think Rodgers won it both 20 and 21.
All right.
They claim it was the 2016 season. You might want to fact check this.
Yeah, because that's the year
Matt
they broke
Ryan. The year Matt Ryan.
Finished third.
That's crazy.
I guess Matt Ryan won it. So like,
that's quite the here damn MVP award.
Yeah, I mean, like no disrespect to Matt. Matt's a great player, but you never thought of Matt as the best guy of his era.
Yeah, certainly not.
So 2016, he had 3,937 yards. 28 touchdowns and 6 interceptions.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty solid.
Here's the voting for the MVP the way it broke
You
down.
get the-
Matt Ryan 25 votes, Tom Brady 10 votes, Derek Carr and Ezekiel Elliott tied for third with 6 votes.
Yeah, that was
Aaron
Dak and
Rodgers-
Zeke's rookie year.
Aaron
None
Rodgers
of those
with 2
dudes are
and
in the
Dak
league
Prescott
anymore. Aaron Rodgers had 2 votes for 5th place?
Yep, 2, and then Dak Prescott had 1.
Dak had a vote.
Crazy.
Let's
Damn.
go here with. Well, anything else you guys want to add about the Steelers?
I don't think so.
The other thing we have is.
I'll just say something real
Yes,
quick.
it is.
Go ahead.
This is pretty on brand for the Cowboys. I think similarly to Pittsburgh when it comes to like taking people that may have slight like issues and stuff like that, Antonio Browns and stuff like that. That's something that they've always done with Jerry Jones, like Des Bryant and stuff like that. I think that it's going to be a situation that could get very bad quickly, especially like depending on how Georgia is with Dak Prescott. There's going to be a lot of eyes on Dallas now. It can work out, but it can also like burn to the ground pretty quickly.
Best case scenario, it ends like T.O. and fucking Donovan McNabb. Like, that's the best case scenario.
I think best case scenario is it ends like T.O. in Dallas did, because for a while in Dallas, he was pretty fine.
That was the
Pretty
T.O. that was
decent, man.
matured, right?
That's what I'm saying. That's best case scenario.
That's not what George Pickens is in his life.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
He is at the I'm a swing on my quarterback
Okay.
phase of his life. And the thing I think they set him up for is he keep telling him, this is the best quarterback you ever played with. This is the best quarterback you ever played with. Hey, man, I don't know if people have checked in with wide receivers about this, because every wide receiver that's played for Dak does not hold him in high regard. And the first time George is like hearing all that shit, Dak's the best quarterback you ever played with. And that bitch go like this. And he's like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
And now he has expectations that the ball should have gotten there. Nah, y'all done set that man up. Y'all done set Dak up. And you think Dak Prescott going to say the right thing? That dude got beat up at spring break in college.
I mean,
By
also,
Brando.
like there's going to be a game where CD Lamb gets like 18 targets and George gets 7, and he's going to be pissed. Like,
Or George gets 17 and CD gets 7.
yeah.
Also, unrelated, but we talked about it at the beginning of the show. Apparently, Demetrius Knight is practicing that. The second round pick
There you
is
go.
true.
So that makes it a lot less weird. It just seems like a Shamar Stewart thing in that way.
Okay, so now we're talking about Browns. The only Browns news in Q that I saw on Twitter was people were saying stuff about Mason Graham, that he was not performing out. Like, how are you not performing in rookie minicamp? It's just drills. And then obviously everybody is on the quarterback watch, right? The kid, the news guy that said that Dylan wasn't that big or whatever it was, and then
I don't know why that's controversial.
Dylan Gabriel's small.
Yeah.
We walked on the field at the Senior Bowl. We're like, damn, he's short. That's everybody's reaction when you see Dylan Gabriel, because he is substantially shorter than you expect. And you already expect him to be short. But I guess, like, I don't want to anger the short king brigade. I'm in the short king kingdom. Like, you know, I'm not tall either. But damn, we can't talk about Dylan Gabriel like he regular size. Like, he looked like Bruno Mars in more ways than one.
You think he looks like Bruno Mars in the face?
Little man be moving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You watch him, you're like, okay, look at Bruno go. Like,
Oh,
you know, Bruno
goodness.
be moving. Like,
by the way, and then to add that, Tony, I don't know if you guys saw this, Grossi.
oh,
he
Lord.
He
Yeah,
said,
Are the Browns trading for Dak Prescott?
No. He said that he went to camp and he thought Dylan looked better than Sanders to both days. That was
That's hilarious, because Tony Grossi's the guy with the height fetish in Cleveland. Like, that's the guy
Oh, really?
who got suspended for calling Baker the M word, right? Like,
What?
He called him dwarf.
Oh, I thought you
yeah.
said he called him the N word. I'm like, wait, that A, that doesn't make sense, and B, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
In front of the fair people. Okay.
Yeah. He called him that off air. He was like, the Bengals got Joe Burrow. We're stuck here with this freaking. So, that is hilarious.
Not to sound like out of touch. Is that like a frowned upon word? Like legitimate?
Yeah.
They do not prefer the term.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's hilarious. But Tony Grossi's quarterback evaluations. I mean, like, what evaluation can you get at rookie mini camp?
Nothing.
Like, it's 7 on. It's like saying somebody had a good summer league, so they're gonna make the fucking all-star team their rookie year. I'm prepared for it to get out of hand, right? Because there's a lot of people paying attention to this camp. Shador is the biggest story in football right now because he fell in the draft. And that kind of made him a bigger star than he already was. So we'll see what happens. I think I liked what I've seen when I watched the clips of Shador throwing the football. It looks like what I saw him do at Colorado, which is be very accurate, have good enough arm strength. We'll see what it looks like once he gets into real practices with real pressure against some real teammates, right? Because right now he's not even going against his actual teammates that he's going to be playing against, right? It's not like Miles is up there trying to block something. So we'll see what that looks like. I will say this. I think he's handled all of the stuff he could after the draft pretty well. I thought he has done a good job with that. Everything that he can control about this has been good. You got the people who are going to try to speak for him or speak for his fandom that are going to embarrass themselves, right? And I think the same thing's happening with the Dylan Gabriel people, where people are refusing to acknowledge the man is short. My man is short, y'all. Like, it's fine. The dude is legit. He's 5'11". That means he's barely taller than Russ.
Yeah.
An inch taller maybe than like Bryce Young. Like, he's short, man. He's fucking tiny, and he's not a great athlete, or at least a great enough athlete to get away with being that short. So Dylan's gonna have to overcome that. I expect Dylan to look great in 7-on-7s. I expect Shador to look great in rookie camp 7-on-7s, especially. The real question is, okay, how do these two deal with pressure? Because that's the big questions you had about them coming into it. And as far as Mason Graham's concerned, man, people are being weird about him. Like, his college shape wasn't great. He threw up in camp.
Yeah.
It's football. Everybody has a guy who throws up in camp every year at every football camp that has literally ever existed. So I don't know. People just making a mountain out of molehill with that one, trying to prove themselves right. I always say this. There's a lot of draft people that you hear a lot from in May, but then when the fucking games start happening, you don't hear shit from these people. And those are the people who are loud right now on Mason Graham. We'll see if they're fucking talking in October. But yeah, it's not as eventful as much media has been around it. It's been rookie minicamp. Shador looks fine. Dylan looks fine. They're splitting reps. Probably going to split reps for the majority. And even if one of them starts, we're probably not going to find out till like after the preseason's over.
Any thoughts from you, Ace and Jarrett?
Not really. I mean, mini camp in any regard, it's more so just you're not going to find out much. Be it Steelers mini camp here in the coming weeks. There's not going to be. I'm sure I'm not going to be like writing about it. Like, oh my goodness, Roman Wilson looks like the best receiver I've ever seen in mini camp. Like, it's what it is. It's there to, more or less just get guys ready. If you see like team drills and whatnot and the guys are, standing out, then that's one thing. But rookie mini camp, where there's a bunch of guys who aren't going to be there to begin with, it's kind of hard to really evaluate anything.
It's crazy in the case of Mason Graham because it feels like the hate is coming from Cleveland the most part. I don't know because
people wanted Travis Hunter, and like I wanted Travis Hunter. But at some point, you gotta stop being a big fucking baby about it. And draft the guy you wanted. Let's fucking move on, guys. Like, at some point,
you got an extra first-round pick for him too for next year. Like,
you got an extra first. We're not even sure Travis is going to be amazing. Like, let's see if he's amazing. I think he will be. But let just play it out. You didn't do they didn't do what you wanted them to do. But at some point, you got to get the fuck over yourself, right? Like, I watch tape on all these guys. I have my opinions, but I have to get over it. Like, if you watch highlights over him and you really want him, like, you got to fucking get over it at some point, and just see if the guy that you drafted is fucking good. And I have no faith that Browns fans will ever realize that, because I have to argue with them every week about Myles Garrett being good. Like, you know, they still are like, oh, is he actually affecting the game? I'm like, please ask the offense coordinator if that's true. I promise you he is. But yeah. Also, JOK, they put him on PUP injured reserve, out for the year already. Yeah. Not good. Not good sign for him.
By the way, the NBA is
probably not coming back.
How is the Wizards not a top 4 pick? I'm pissed. Sorry, this is
Cooper Flag for you, my boy.
There's a six
games, and you will like it. Okay.
There's a 6 pick. Look,
the
Mavs, the Spurs, the Hornets.
Nah, don't try to give the Mavs Cooper Flag because they decided to trade Luka.
So the top 4 are the Sixers, Spurs.
We gotta get rid of the lottery because we know that this is fixed, bro.
Who are the top 4, Sonny?
So both Texas teams, San Antonio and Dallas, Hornets and the Sixers. The Wizards are the 6th pick.
The Hornets and the Sixers. Do not give another top pick to those Sixers.
I agree.
The Hornets.
Who's number 1? Who's number 1?
Good God, don't give them one.
No, they haven't announced it. Now they
haven't gotten a number. They said it's not Utah though.
Utah's 5th. 5th, and then they're in the.
They said no. We gonna punish taking. Like, that's a thing. How many? What were the odds for you to get 6? I don't feel like they were high. How did you get that lucky in the opposite direction?
The Wizards, Wizards and Jazz had the same odds. They were the top 2 odds, and neither of them are in the top 4.
Wait, y'all had like the flat top 3 odds? Y'all were like the final, like y'all were one of the 3 worst teams in the NBA?
They were tied for the best odds, the Wizards. Yes, the top 3.
So the top 3 get the flat odds, and you got fucking 6?
And we got 6. And the best odds and worst record was the Jazz. They were 5th. They're not even in the top 3 either.
So who was the other team?
Who were the top? I'm gonna say it to you right now. I'm so mad.
Oh, it was the Hornets. So it's probably going to be the Hornets that get them. Right?
So and then the Pelicans were the 7th pick.
Good God, no more Pelicans. No,
they were the 7th. They were the 7th pick.
Okay, I'm about to say, stop.
Do not give them as the number 1 pick, bro.
They might give it to Wemby. What flagging Wemby?
Flagging Wemby is gonna be nasty if they get to play together.
Sorry, we changed here to NBA. I'm just got pissed because I've been excited. Hey, maybe I get Cooper Flag. I like the kids.
You were like Cooper Flag.
I like the kids we have. To be fair, I actually enjoy seeing them play and seeing the growth.
Who's the 6th pick in this draft?
I don't even know. I
knew there was the Ace Bailey. I don't know who is
I can't name a college basketball player, so Godspeed.
Not even for
hoping you get a good spot.
I don't watch college basketball, bruv.
Dude, as soon as I saw the Wizards logo when the 6th pick came, I'm like, you have to be kidding.
Cooper Flag, you might want to check out Cooper Flag though, Jared. Cooper Flag is nice. Yeah.
He's there, by the way. Cooper Flag is in there in the ceremony, whatever you call this thing.
I know a couple of these guys just because Montverde is pretty close by. Cooper Flag played there. It's like one of the top basketball high schools in the nation. They basically get future NBA players there. So I got to see Cooper Flag play there.
No, I'm definitely a hockey guy. And then outside of that, not much. It's football, wrestling, hockey. Those are my 3. And outside of that, it's if the Pirates ever get good again, I'll start tuning back in. But yeah, just kind of fell off basketball over the last.
Do you guys know Con Kunepo from Duke? He's in the mock draft here. He's the 6th pick. I don't know.
I know a couple of them that are at Montverde. I know there's Asa Newell, Derek Queen, a lot of them that played. Liam,
Derek
I think
Queen.
is another one.
Pick Derek
They're
Queen.
all like in this draft.
Keep the Baltimore.
If you got to get Derek Queen, that'll be a good pick.
Yeah,
Derek
keep
Queen
the Baltimore kid here.
Although, according to Field Yates, since the NBA changed its lottery system in 2019, the team with the league's worst record has never won the lottery and picked first overall. So,
because it's rigged. It's not a real lottery, guys. When LeBron went to the Cavs, that LeBron even admitted that
one good fucking thing happens to Cleveland, and we're like, "Oh, it's rigged."
LeBron admitted that it was rigged. LeBron was like, "Real." Derrick Rose goes to Chicago. Come on.
Yeah, the Bulls had a 1.7% chance to win the lottery that year, and Derrick Rose just happened to go. Like, I'm a Bulls fan. Like, I grew up a Bulls fan. I was like, all right, I'll take it. But
hey,
but no, Q, I don't know if you heard. LeBron admitted that he felt like the lottery was rigged. He was like, come on.
yeah, I understand that LeBron thinks that because he's LeBron, right?
Bro,
But
well, you don't know this, Quincy, but there was a time that LeBron actually got caught.
40% chance.
You guys want me to tell you that?
Working out.
LeBron got caught practicing with you guys before the draft.
I know this. Yeah, he was practicing with John Lucas. He was practicing with a lot of guys. He practiced with MJ.
The Hornets are the fourth pick. The Hornets are the fourth pick, not top 3.
I'm just saying, when the Cavs got LeBron, we can't act like they had 1.2% odds. The Cavs were by far the worst team in the NBA that year.
The Sixers are the third pick.
They were shamelessly trying to get LeBron. Like, this whole thing, that makes sense.
Dallas got number 1.
Dallas got number 1.
Yeah.
It's rigged, bro. They rigged it. They lost Lucas, so now they get Cooper Flag. They rigged that, bro.
I'm gonna go on a limb real quick. Cooper Flag, a white fella, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Probably the best one, Jared, since Larry Bird. We'll see.
Oh, wow.
All
right.
Well, white American? Because we're leaving out all the European ones, right?
We're taking the Europeans are a different breed, my brother. We're talking Anglo.
You said white American as in white American basketball player. I thought you just meant white American, period. I was gonna say, all right, Stone Cold Steve Austin's probably number 1. No. And then after that, we
Jason Bateman.
Oh, that's funny.
But best
Cooper Flag goes to the draft.
Wait, where are we putting Jimmer?
Jimmer for day. He was a Bull for a minute.
Below JJ Redick. He's definitely below JJ Redick for sure.
Yeah, JJ Redick.
Kyle Korver. Where do we put Kyle Korver on here? Kyle Korver ruled.
Even better representation here, right? Like, was there?
Brad Miller, dog. Brad Miller was 50s.
Wait. What's the guy? He cried. Michael Jordan drafted him. The Bobcats.
Tyler Hansborough.
No. They did this
the Gonzaga guy with the mustache.
Adam Morrison. He better than Adam Morrison.
Adam Morrison was ass.
Yes, he's better than Adam Morrison.
Hey man, that Adam Morrison hype was crazy. And then we got to ask Skip Bayless: are we counting Blake Griffin?
Oh God. We have to go with the Will Compton method here. It's like, all right, I don't know if he says the word, so I don't think he does. So I'm gonna take him. I think we're gonna take Blake Griffin.
We asked this question on national TV,
bro. They just helped the Mavericks out.
I'm kidding.
The lottery is rigged. You can't say it's not rigged, bro. They just helped Dallas out after they made the worst trade.
Well, and look, I'll buy into that because the reason that the Mavericks traded Luka supposedly is because they wanted to like either get a new stadium or move to Vegas, but they weren't being allowed to. Says, all right, we'll just tank our attendance and then have a reason to move to Vegas. So I don't know. I could buy into the thought process of it potentially.
Jason
or at least the real story is that the Miami Heat.
Jason Williams. I don't know. I have a Jason Williams jersey sitting in my closet right now.
The real story here is that the Miami Heat cost themselves the number 1 overall pick because that probably would have been their odds if they had not made the playoffs.
Just for that, I think.
So mad he left the stream.
Maybe I think just for that, I'm gonna wear my Jason Williams jersey for the next show.
Who's like the highest drafted white American? I think it's Adam Morrison, right?
It's
like Jason Williams was like a 2nd round pick,
or it might be Larry Bird.
But yeah, when was Larry drafted?
Larry was I don't know if Larry got drafted.
Also, what year are we cutting this off? Because, back in the day when the Celtics were starting
we're gonna go back to Bob Cousy.
We're gonna be like,
we're not gonna include pre-segregation.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Because if we're talking about that when it was just black and white and you get on Larry
Bird was the 6th pick of the draft.
Okay.
Yeah, Adam Morrison, I think was 2.
I'm very upset with this shit, by the way. I'm not even.
That's why I was like, did Sonny leave because he had technical difficulties?
My computer
Adam Morrison was 3rd overall.
Yeah, my computer.
Adam Morrison went 3rd overall.
Yeah. From Glendive, Montana, baby.
Christ.
When did Bill Walton get drafted?
Oh, that's a good question.
Ooh, Luke Walton?
Bill Walton.
Bill Walton,
Bill
he
Walton
had to
is
go
bad.
number 1 overall, right? Like,
I think he might have went on number 1 though. Yeah, he
Hairy
went number 1.
bastard.
I was like, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Bill Walton.
Okay.
There has
Well,
to be more than just.
that was my disappointment of today.
Well,
Outside life.
I think wherever this Cooper Flag fella goes, assuming it's the Mavericks, he should wear 6. That way we can call him 6 Flags. No?
That's not bad. That's not bad. I was gonna hate on it.
See, all right. I'll
That's
take
not
That's
it.
not
bad.
bad.
All
That
right.
isn't bad.
Wait,
Cooper
what number does
Flag
he wear
goes to
right
the
now?
Mavericks. They felt bad. They felt bad.
Hey, it's Nico, dog. There's no guarantee he's gonna take Cooper Flag. He might trade the pick, try to get like
Trade
fucking
for Wiz.
Bertans or somebody like
We'll
that,
give
get a
you,
defensive player.
Whatever the
he
They
heck.
had a
Pickens
1.5% chance. The Mavericks
Yeah.
had a 1.5% chance
Because
to
they
get
made
the
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 playoffs.
reason I don't think it's rigged is you can't explain how Kyrie got to Cleveland if it's rigged. The year New York had the best odds to get a number 1 pick, but then Cleveland gets him. Nah, we benefited far too much. Yo, everything is rigged. Also, Jarrett would have been the Bulls pick, but they lost the tiebreaker.
Is that the year that they got Rose when they because
Wow.
who was their coach when they got Derrick Rose? Is it Vinny Del Negro still? I want to
No.
say it was still Vinny Del Negro.
David though?
One of my good friends is
No.
in heaven. He's
They're
a
like a
Duke
Mac-
fan. He's a Mavs fan, and now Cooper Flag is going to the Mavericks. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hating life right now. Anyway,
All right.
thank you everybody for joining me in live stream.
Tour.
Next week
Wizards
we'll
are never
react
gonna
to
be good, Sonny.
I don't even
So
want to
who y'all go trade for?
I don't
Bring
even
back
care.
Bradley Bill?
Sonny, I'd rather watch shooting guards on Netflix than watch a Wizards game.
And
Just
Wizards game were fun this year.
it was more entertaining.
The Wizards
Wait,
game
shooting
were
guard's
fun.
not good?
No, it was good. It was good.
Okay.
It was more entertaining than the
Whoa, whoa,
Wizards
whoa.
game, though.
Hey, Wizards game were fun. But anyway, the 6th pick, come on, NBA. Anyway,
I mean, to be fair, whoever wants to watch the Wizards, like honestly,
I
I'm
think
glad when
Wizards-
players who are. Imagine if LeBron's career happened on the Wizards, he probably wouldn't have been good.
no.
If LeBron gets drafted to the Wizards, I'm like, ugh, the aura's off. He's wearing like 40 something, like it's trash. Like,
Oh, okay.
y'all had
I see.
Jordan
The,
and didn't make the playoffs. Like that is the ultimate Wizard stat. Like, you're the only team to not benefit from Michael Jordan.
Anyway. So Ray right here is saying that should have been the Bulls pick, but because they lost something.
Oh,
The tiebreaker.
that should be the Bulls pick. Wow.
Apparently, and then
Yeah, because the Bulls lost their way into their spot, and the Dallas was originally the 10 seed in it. So yeah, that makes sense.
yes, sir. Anyway,
How do you make the play-in, but then you still get the number 1 pick in the draft?
Because you don't make the play-in, you don't make the
they
playoffs.
didn't make the
You're in the
playoffs.
lottery.
That's crazy.
Oh, hating life right now. Anyway,
Yeah, which is why like teams that have the 10 seed, they're like fucking lose the game. Like,
yes,
especially in the East.
we will be back next week. I'm upset now, but we'll be back next week. We'll talk about the schedule and all the other stuff. Thank you everybody for joining. I appreciate it. Make sure you comment, hit the like, and subscribe to the channel. Till next time.
Can't wait for y'all to trade for Dame. Like,
Same time.